Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I have the answers for my 1,000 subscriber Q&A for you. And yay, I'm really excited to get to these questions and some answers. So let's just dive right in. But first and foremost, I do want to say thank you to everyone who asked questions. I really do appreciate it quite a bit and offered congratulations. It's a really fun milestone to pass. And so I'm just so incredibly thankful for all of the questions that everyone asked me. It's just absolutely wonderful. So let's get to them though, because there are quite a few. So the first one is from Steve Donahue, and his question is, how have the people in your life reacted to this strange thing called BookTube that's suddenly so prominent in your life conversation, or have you not made it common knowledge? So I have made it common knowledge to my friends, my family, to some coworkers. I also posted it on Facebook, and one of my friends actually ended up diving into BookTube pretty strongly and has been in buddy reads and group reads, and yeah, we keep asking her when she's going to join BookTube because she seems like she should be close to it. But so my family, my husband is supportive of me making videos, other than, it takes time away from our time together sometimes. But I did say initially I would try and get him to come on camera, and let's just say he wasn't having any part of that today. So I apologize to everyone. I thought maybe getting questions would make him want to be on camera, and the answer to that was no. So, and my policy has always been, both with my friends and anyone, if you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to be on camera. So, yeah, he's downstairs happily watching something on TV. So, yeah, sorry. I tried, but no. So, all right, but we're going to go ahead and move on to the next question. So, Guy Athena asked me, what did you ask me? Guy Athena asked me, it'd be nice to see your husband in the video. Yeah, but he's not comfortable with it, so that's fine. Does he like to read? Yes, he does read. He likes to read history more than anything else. He did read The Martian and loved it. So some books. Does he like the outdoors like you do? No. I mean, he likes the outdoors and that he'll go hiking with me, but he would never go on the kayak, and camping is not his idea of a vacation. His vacation involves a hotel. So yeah, but definitely not like me. We do not have, sorry, she asked, do you have any pets? And if so, which ones? And what are their names? We do not have any pets right now. We don't live in a house that's very suitable for pets. It doesn't have a yard, doesn't have an easy way to get them out, and it just wouldn't be fair to a dog, and that's really the pet that I would want, is a dog. And so it's just not something that we've chosen to do at this particular point. I do get to spend a lot of time with my friends' dogs, which I have shown in my videos before, who I love, like they're my own, but I get to play with them, and then they get to go home, and I don't have to deal with all the rest of the stuff. So bonus on that one. And I think that was it. That was all the questions. So thank you, Guy. I appreciate it. So Kristen from Enter the Book said, what's your favorite national park you've been to, as well as the one you most want to visit? I think Jack at the Rambling Raconteur also asked the same question, so thank you to both of you. And it's interesting because I don't actually go to national parks as much. I tend to go a little bit more off the beaten trail, go to hikes, things like that, but not visit big parks. One I would want to visit, I would love to visit Yellowstone, but there's a lot of flooding apparently there right now, so I'm very thankful I'm not there right now. But I tend to go more on kind of hikes, backpacking, not in parks. So yes to husband, family, pet introduce. Sorry, didn't work. I tried. They can say what they like best about your BookTube. He doesn't want to be on camera. So and biggest challenge, as well as what they think is the favorite outdoor activity. His favorite outdoor activity is definitely skiing. He's been skiing since he was a young child. So, yeah. So, but that's the main one. Show us your top 3 most beautiful books. I have to pause. Hold on. All right, I actually only have two that I'm going to show. The first one is this beautiful copy of The Arabian Nights. I love this copy. I've shown this several times on my channel. Fits very well with the 1001 book countdown theme. And so, yeah, The Arabian Nights, this one has just beautiful end papers in it, and there's lots of beautiful artwork in it, and even the pages have a design along the edges. It's just really pretty. I love this copy of The Arabian Nights. It's just a Barnes & Noble one. And then the other one that I'll show is a new one that you haven't seen yet, and that is this beautiful copy of Jane Eyre. You'll see it still has the plastic on it because I showed a copy of Pride and Prejudice recently, and this is by the same publisher. So this is published by Andrew McNeil. The illustrations are by Marjolaine Baston is how you say that name. I will take the plastic off at some point, but look at how pretty this copy of Jane Eyre is. It is just beautiful. Jane Eyre happens to be one of my favorite classics. And so, yeah, at some point I'll open it and share it again on here, but those are the two I'm going to share today. So thank you, Kristen. All right. Michael Clark asked, a question for my husband, which is, has he read Everything Sad is Untrue? A True Story, question mark. I haven't asked him, so I apologize. I don't know. I think when I mentioned it originally, he said no. So I don't know if he would have any interest in reading it, but he hasn't, as far as I know, read that. Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl asks, what books are not on the 1001 book list that you think deserve to be on it? Well, there's some surprising ones that aren't on it. Things like Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. If you're a sci-fi fan, Dune is not on it, which I'm sure is very... it's unexpected because given its popularity. There are ones that are newer releases that certainly haven't made it on there yet. But I think I haven't read Lonesome Dove yet, but from what I'm hearing about it, that's the one I think I'm most surprised isn't on the list. The question for my husband, if he were to have a YouTube channel, what would his content be about? Probably something in technology, but he would never show his face. He doesn't have any interest in that. So Eric Carl Anderson asked, what is the most treasured book, rare or for sentimental reasons, on your bookshelves? So I actually didn't start collecting books until I started my BookTube channel. Before that, I was checking out everything from the library. I was doing ebooks more than anything else. So I don't have anything for sentimental, and I don't really have anything rare. I just have been buying things that are easy to find and that are on my 1001 book list. So yeah. All right. Sandra Rice. Sandra, great name, by the way. My question is, why are your bookshelves in a closet? Fair question. So up until recently, this bookshelf over here did not exist. I had all of my books in the closet and a very small bookshelf that was out. And part of that was because before my BookTube channel, I, again, wasn't buying a lot of books. I was doing everything online. And then when I started acquiring books, I ran out of space so incredibly fast. And so the closet over here has great shelves in it that I had put in for yarn and for some hobbies that got converted over to bookshelves when I ran out of space. And so I had been wanting these bookshelves for the last year, and they just became available, and I snatched them up so I could get my books out of the closet. Now you can see way more of them. So I think I love them out of the closet, but now I have lots of overflow space in that same closet. So if these get full, then we'll go back in there again. All right. Dragana, and I apologize, I can't say your last name, Maljovic. Thank you so much for commenting. It has two questions for me. How do you manage to read that much? It's really amazing and inspiring. And could you give us some tips to improve our reading habits? So the main thing with how I read so much is I work from home. I don't have children at home. I have a lot of time that I can dedicate to reading. I'm an early riser. I'm often up by 5:30. And downstairs sitting, having a cup of coffee and able to read for between 2 and 3 hours before I have to start work. And I don't commute anymore. So I have time. I can read at lunch. I can read after work. It's really just about having time. So wouldn't say like I wouldn't encourage anyone to actually try and read faster. It's more about carving out time. If you can find a dedicated time, I know you'll always read from this time period, might be one strategy. The other one is for very difficult books. If I get stuck on a book, I will often grab the audiobook and listen to part of it to get me back into the book and get me over a hump of a difficult section. Those are really the only kind of strategies I have, but it all comes down to just having time. And, you know, not everyone has as much time. I'm very, very fortunate that I have as much time as I do. So yeah, I'm very, very lucky. All right, Leo Bancroft, what is your dream bookstore in real life, or if you could invent one? I went to a bookstore once in Wisconsin that was, oh, it might not have been a bookstore. I think it was a yarn and coffee shop, which I thought was the coolest thing because I liked both those things. You throw books in there, and I think I might have my perfect shop because I would combine all these things together. Yeah, I think something like that, maybe. All right. Criminally asked me, what's a question you went into completely blind and ended up loving? I'm going to say The Tin Flute by Gabrielle Roy. I read that as a group read with a few people last year, and I loved that book. There was something about the characters and how they interacted together that just did something for me. It was one of the best reads that I had all of last year, and I knew nothing about it. But I often don't know anything about it when I'm reading from the 1001 book list because it's just a list and I'm just randomly picking stuff. So I'm sure that will happen more. All right. Anne with a book asked, is there any book on the 1001 countdown you're not looking forward to reading? Yeah, there are some books by Salman Rushdie that I'm concerned about. There are some, there are some, just old classics, like pre-1800 classics that I'm really worried about. The Marcel Proust series, yeah, I'm worried about that one. Those are some of the ones. The ones that are hard are the ones that I get it started with and go, oh no, this is not a good book for me. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So Britta Bowler, Britta Bowler asked me, she says, I'm nosy, so I'd love to know what made you start the 1001 Books project. So I was just in my 20s starting to read more classics, trying to get out of the romance genres that I was reading a ton of, and wasn't sure where to start. Got a few recommendations for people like my husband, and started branching out and just didn't really know what to look for next, and searched online and found this list. And I have been trying to read from it ever since. I am such a list person. You give me a list at work and it's like my brain has to check off the items. I am so oriented like that. It's the fastest way to get me to do anything. Give me a list because something in me wants me to check it off one after the other. And so, yeah, I'm having fun working my way through them, but it is a massive project. What made me start YouTube doing it? I don't know. I think I saw Noelle Gallagher for the first time and was like, I didn't even know that was a thing that people talked about books on here, and I couldn't get it out of my head. And once it got in my head, yeah, I had to keep going. I had to do a video. And I'm so glad I did because I've met so many amazing people. David Wiley, the wonderful David Wiley, says, what was your favorite buddy read from the 1001 book countdown, and why was it Neuromancer? I read Neuromancer with David. And have you played Azul anymore? So last year I was getting ready to go on my camping trip, and I asked David, hey, do you have board game recommendations for 3 people? And he recommended Azul. And so Azul is a great board game with lots of pieces. Fun story, when we played it at first time camping, I read the instructions, which I should never be allowed to do, played a round of it, and it seemed like it was really easy and geared towards a person who was first who first started the round. And then my friends looked at the instructions and realized I had it completely wrong. So yeah, I don't think I'm allowed to read instructions anymore after that, but we will be taking it camping again this year and playing it because it is a fun game. My favorite buddy read, I cannot pick. I love buddy reads, and I have done buddy reads with so many different people. It is one of my favorite things about BookTube is our buddy reads. So David, yes, it was lovely reading Neuromancer with you, but like a typical booktuber, I don't think I can pick just one because I have had so many fantastic ones. Heidi from My Reading Life asks, what is your favorite flavor of nonfiction? So definitely outdoor fiction, and nonfiction, sorry. And specifically like the survival stories, adventure stories that, those are my favorite. Into Thin Air, Into the Wild, Touching the Void, Winter Dance, where he's out learning how to run the Iditarod, those kinds of stories with humor. And yeah, I love that type of nonfiction. I'm still diving into some other ones to see what I really like. I haven't been a huge fan of a lot of memoirs, but books like Empire of Pain, I loved this year reading for the BookTube Prize. So that's part of the reason why I like the BookTube Prize, is because it opens you to so many more books that you probably wouldn't have picked up, or I wouldn't have picked up anyway. All right, so Jess Book Girl TV asks, how did you get into reading? Are any members of your family huge readers? Are any family and friends supportive of your channel? So I answered before, my friends definitely are supportive of my channel. They don't really understand it, understand BookTube, understand kind of that, but they are happy for me when something happens that I'm excited about and supportive that way. Not many of them want to be on camera, I know, which is fine as well. As I said, I don't make people be on camera. So yeah, that's been a really good thing. No one in my family are readers. My parents weren't really readers. My brother isn't a reader. So yeah, I'm really the only one, but I had dyslexia as a young child, and I just didn't read that much until I hit a little bit later in life, and then I fell in love with it, and now it's my primary form of entertainment. So yeah, it took me a little while to get into reading more. Okay, Max Libris asked 7 questions, so I'm going to answer a few of them. I like this particular question. What's an album you used to listen to from start to finish? I remember very distinctly in junior high school being in my friend's room and us listening to Michael Jackson Thriller from end to end. That was a fun memory. I'm trying to think of other ones. I love, this will tell you how big of a nerd I am, movie soundtracks. I don't know why, but like Grease soundtrack, love. Could listen to the whole thing over and over and over again. Or things like Guardians of the Galaxy that's bringing in all these older hits. Could listen to that one as well many times. So those are a couple. Yes, I know I'm a huge nerd, but I love musicals. Question number 4 that they asked is, what's your favorite type of cheese? I don't think I've ever answered that question. I love a good goat cheese, a flavored goat cheese, very yummy. I love brie, especially if you toast it, if you wrap it in phyllo dough. Oh, so good. And bake it. Oh, so good. But I'm a big fan of cheese and crackers. When we go camping, our first meal is always cheese and crackers. So yeah, I'm a big cheese person. Question number 6, what book read last year do you eventually want to reread? And this one is going to be Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. This book made me just teary. I loved the story of Billy and his dogs. I can't wait to reread that one. I'm hoping to reread it this year. I'm really hoping AJ Dunn hosts a reread of that book because they actually recommended that book to me initially. So I'm hopeful. And then question number 7 is, what's the best thing that happened to you this week? So the best thing that's been happening to me is my birthday coming up. My friends have been playing a Wordle game, a made-up Wordle game this week. And the friend who is running the Wordle game for me, if you're not familiar with Wordle, it's a word game that's from the New York Times where you guess 5-letter words. And she doesn't spell well. And she will frequently say letters in the wrong spot, or will make up a word, and it has been hilarious all week long, seeing these messages, because she's trying really hard and she had to draw a grid. It's really, really funny. I'll share it in an upcoming thing as well, but that's probably the best thing that's happened to me this week. It's just that continual fun of having that ongoing conversation every morning. Brian at Bookish has 4 questions. Have you ever gone wild camping? I don't know what wild camping is, so I'm going to say no. Solo camping? No, because I'm a big scaredy cat. I have dreams of going on a multi-day backpacking trip along the Pacific Crest Trail, but it's never gotten out of just my head as an idea that maybe I would want to do. So yeah. 3, any close encounters with bears, cougars, Sasquatch? So the one close encounter we had was with, my husband and I were out hiking, not too far, but we were kind of on an offshoot trail that was overgrown, and you start seeing the trees move, the bushes move, and we were just not sure what was there, and slowly backed out of that because it was really scary. We just didn't know if we were coming across a cougar, a bear, just, someone else on the trail. We weren't sure, so we just basically left. The only other time I've even had remotely close encounter has been when we were backpacking up in Whistler. We were coming down the trail and turned around, and there goes Mama and her 2 baby bears crossing the trail. They didn't want anything to do with us. They just kept going, but it was like, oh, okay, we'll just keep moving. Yeah, those are the ones. And question number 4 is favorite camping meal. So when we camp, we have a cook stove, and so we eat very, very well. Some of my favorites have been homemade, or tacos with homemade shells that we fry up there, or making a shrimp Caesar salad. Like I said earlier, our first meal is always cheese and crackers, sangria, nuts, and snacks while playing games and listening to music. That's always our first day. All right. Larry Has Opinions asks, what's the most money you've ever spent on a single book? I am a big cheapskate. I don't like spending a lot of money on books. Thrift Books is one of my favorite sites I've ever gone to. The most I have ever spent on a book is $45, and that is for this thing. So these editions, I found a couple of them for cheaper than that, but $45 has been the max I have ever spent. There are some books on the 1001 book list that are exceptionally expensive, and I had to put them in the lost and found kind of shelf on my Goodreads, because I will not be spending $700 for a book that I don't know that I will like. So yeah, I come from a very kind of poor upbringing, and big purchases and big dollars on things, I struggle with those. My husband, if he were here, could tell you that I just really have a hard time buying big ticket items. I will waffle, and then, yeah, it's just really bad. All right, moving on. So Nikki at Red Dot Reads asks to my husband and I, what are your favorite things about the culture of Iran, and would you ever consider living there together? So for me, the culture of Iran that I love is one, the food, amazing food, some of the best food I've ever eaten, but it's about a large amount about family and about supporting family and being around family. And I was welcomed so much into my husband's family. His mom loved me. I spent so much time with her. And so, yeah, it was that part. I would love to be able to see Iran. But I don't see me ever being able to live there. For a long time, it wasn't necessarily safe for us to go there, because if you're from there, it's just sometimes you can't really travel there too easily. So yeah, but it's I would love to go see like some of the sites there and see the places that my husband grew up. But yeah, I don't know that we'll ever have the opportunity to do that, which is sad. All right. So I mentioned that one already from Jack about the parks. Shelly Swearingen asks, what's my favorite snack and how do I take my coffee? So my favorite snacks are gummy, chewy things. Swedish fish, gummy bears, I don't care what it is. If it's fruity and chewy, that is my thing. If I could, I would eat entire bags of that though, which is why I can't have it in the house because I eat way too much of it. So if I have it, so yeah, that's my favorite snack is definitely chewy gummy bear type stuff. How do I take my coffee? With cream and with Truvia. Usually that plant-based sweetener is what I typically, how I take my coffee. I like it a little bit light and sweet. I'm definitely not a black coffee drinker. I can't pronounce this person's name. It's one of my loyal commenters, so thank you so much. It's KRZYSAMM70. Where is your favorite place to camp? What books do you typically read while camping? I do have a favorite location. We do go there every year, but we don't share where it is because we don't want a whole bunch of people going there because it's really nice when it's partially empty. So yeah, it is. We go to the same place that's north of here, about 2 hours north of Seattle, and we have a lake, and we go kayaking and hiking and everything up there. What books do I typically read while camping? I don't read while camping. I don't know why, but for me, being outside, the last thing I want to do is pick up a book. I brought 5 books last year camping. I read none of them. I read maybe 50 pages of The Mysteries of Udolpho because I had a buddy read going on that I need to finish. But I didn't read a single one of the other ones. My friends read them. One of my friends read 4 books. We said she was being antisocial. But when we go up there, we just want to be outside and we want to play and listen to music. And even when I'm in camp by myself, I just have no desire to pick up a book. So it's a complete and total shut off of everything to do with social media, booktube, books. I don't take video. I rarely take pictures. I'm just out, and it's the most resetting thing I do every year, and I look forward to it so much. I can't wait to go this year. Rachel B asked, love to hear how you and your husband met and fell in love. We met at a restaurant. It's not a very exciting story. And, you know, we dated for probably 3 years before we moved in together. So yeah, it took us a long time to not a long time, but we took things pretty slow in the beginning, which was really, really nice. I felt like I had a good opportunity to get to know him, which was fabulous. Let's see here. Oh, Marilyn Maya Mendoza asked me if I've always had this bubbly personality, and then she says she loves it. So thank you very much, Marilyn. I am often bubbly. I've had someone tell me even when I was crying, I was still smiling. I definitely trying to be more positive and try and be more upbeat, but you know, I also on here don't let you see necessarily when I'm upset, when you know, if I'm having a bad day, I don't even try and record because I feel like it comes across. You know, I can be sad, I can be depressed on occasion, but it's not my go-to. My go-to is usually this and happy. And yeah, it's just, you have to know me really well before I let you kind of see some of that, because it's just something, it's tough for me to let people see some of that. But most of the time, this is me. All right. Dragana, again, I still can't pronounce your last name. If you were to advise me which 5 books to skip from the 1001 Books list, which ones would be nominated? Pamela, she says so far I have noted just Pamela. Yeah, I mean, Pamela is slow. The John Updike books were not my thing. I had a really hard time. I think Rabbit Run I was okay, but by the time I got to Rabbit at Rest, or Rabbit is Rich. Sorry, it was Rabbit is Rich. I did not like A Rich Rabbit. It was not a good book. Beyond that, there's only a few books that I have DNF'd. Dr. Faustus was one by Thomas Mann. I also DNF'd Infinite Jest because it just wasn't my kind of book. So it'd be interesting to see, like, if you read one of those, did you like them? Because I know some people love Infinite Jest. I am not one of them. And maybe if I tried it again at this point, maybe I would like it more. Back to an earlier question, a book I'm really concerned about, it's things like William Faulkner and stream of consciousness novels. Yeah, those are bad for me. So, alrighty. Rebecca McLean asks, congrats. Well, that's not asking, but sorry. Congrats. And what is your career/job? How did you and your husband meet? So I've already mentioned how we met. My job, I work in information technology, actually. I am an architect in that space. And so I design systems for reporting. I've been in IT for 20 something years. So yeah, it's been a good fit for me. I really do like technology. My husband says I'm not a real IT person because I don't care about certain things in technology. I love writing code. I love writing, SQL statements. If you don't know what SQL statements are, don't worry about it. I love, digging into a problem and trying to solve it. All of those things are really, really wonderful. But I don't, I don't like care about what our internet speed is necessarily. I don't care about what phone we have. I don't care about any of that. So, I think it drives him a little crazy that I don't care. He does call me not a real technology person. So, and I think actually that might be the last question. If you asked me a question and I didn't answer it, no, it is not because I didn't want to answer your question. It is only because YouTube likes to delete things off of my, out of my comments. And I have no idea why. So I apologize if you asked and I didn't answer it. But I think that's everything. So thank you again to everyone who asked a question. Sorry for the 30+ minute video. Hope you enjoyed all the answers, and maybe someday you'll get to see my husband, but he was not having any of it today, which is fine. Like I said, I don't want to pressure anyone into being online. And that's his choice. So, but as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, thanks. Bye.